Good morning. Oh, that's really nice. Let's try that again. Let's say good morning for the seniors. Good morning, seniors.
Good morning.
And good morning to the first years and the transfers.
Good morning.
Oh, that's pretty even. Although I sense some excitement with the seniors, and actually, I saw some of you when you were walking in. You make me cry. It's like you were just in my well class, 4 years ago. So anyway, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Ann Dobmeyer. I'm the Dean of Research and Academic Resources, and it's my privilege to welcome you to Convocation 2016. A couple housekeeping things. Cell phones off. I think you've already done that. But we're starting a new tradition this year. So after the ceremony, you will go to the car lawn, and we will take some senior photos and some other pictures, but all of the students, everybody, regardless of your year, we want you over there because we're going to take some pictures, and it's such a beautiful day. And we have a professional photographer, so, I don't know. No? You're laughing? I think you are. Well, oh, perfect. Okay, great. Well, thank you. So, Convocation, what is it? So, it celebrates the beginning of an academic year, and we're doing it here at Bay Path, and colleges and universities all over the United States are doing the same thing. Some did it last week, some will do it next week. But we come together, the students, the faculty, the staff, administrators, and we mark the beginning of the year in the academy. To our new students, you recently learned about the importance of academic integrity to our community. You signed the pledge to be ethical in word and deed, and there's no pledge there. Did somebody steal the pledge? Well, the pledge will be in the library, and for the first year and transfer students, if you have not signed it, there is time to sign it before we frame it and put it up in the library. The seniors, you signed a pledge when you entered Bay Path, and we hope that you have been true to its charge. It's an important part of our character, our fiber, and our community. Seniors, today you're wearing two parts of your regalia, the robe and the mortarboard. At commencement in May, you get a hood, a fancy little hood, and that signifies the achievement of your baccalaureate degree. And this year, we'll continue the tradition that we started some years ago, with seniors allowed to wear their robes to class the last 2 weeks of classes in the spring. I just caution you, maybe skip chem lab or I don't know. We don't want anyone to catch on fire. So, as many of you know, our campus theme this year is Thrive. And our quote is from Maya Angelou, one of my favorites, and I'm sure probably your favorite as well. Open up your program, and it's on the top of page 2. And as loud as you can, read it with me. My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. What a beautiful quote. So don't just survive, but thrive with passion. Have compassion for others. Use your own sense of humor and your own sense of style, because we're all a little bit different. But be passionate about your education. Make it yours in partnership with your faculty. And that's what you're here to do. And their job is to help you. You'll hear from our speaker, Melissa Tharau, an alumna, a kindergarten teacher who has thrived in her own time and in her own way. She has defined what thrive means to her, and she'll share that with us. And now, before the faculty processional, we're going to look at some of the past years in pictures. And now will you please rise as the faculty and guests process in and remain standing for the invocation. Maybe they changed their mind. It's a really nice day. Ah, finally.
Peace be with you all. I'm going to invoke the one who made the sun to rise today and made you to smile too, and made us all full of hope, the one who is behind the flowers and behind this beautiful day, that he will bless all the steps. We will pray that your year will be like today's sunrise, full of love, full of kindness, full of hope. We pray that God will give you and give all the staff a great dreams to hope and to work hard for betterment of this life, for betterment of individual, family, and country. We call upon you, Lord, the Lord of hope, to bless this gathering, to give them the power to love, to be kind, to care for each other, and to care for humanity. O Lord, help us all to have big dreams and big goals, goals that will not be limited to materialistic life, but for life itself, for the families, for the children, for humanity, that we all be great, like the greatness of our hopes. May God bless your steps. Believe me, I like to be among you, because the best life is the best as the life of the university. Believe me, I wish I am there. May God bless your steps and make your dreams big and blessed. May your university, college, and staff all be blessed. May your day be always smiley day, and may God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Imam, for your presence here today and for your beautiful and inspiring words to each of us. Good morning and welcome to Academic Convocation 2016. All right. How many of you were with us on the early morning of August 29th for Campus Awakening? All right, give yourself a hand for that. For those of you who were with us in those very early morning hours, you had a taste of the tradition and the mystery that is such an integral part of the college experience. As you will recall, on that morning, we lit candles, we walked together to wake up the campus building by building. We sang together as we faced east to the rising sun, and we ended our walk at Deepwood Circle. In my comments that morning, I talked about the significance of the circle for capturing what it means to be a member of this very special community. And our faculty and staff know that this is something I talk about every year. In fact, I think they get a little tired of hearing me talk about the circle. But the reason I do it is because I do believe that circle is a really important and appropriate thing to understand about this campus community that each of you is a part of. Class of 2020, you are now a part of the Bay Path Circle, a community that is never ending. Wherever you go from this place, you will from now on be a member of this community, and you will have access to networks and to relationships that extend well beyond this place and time. And to our members of the class of 2017, this is your last academic convocation. But as you leave this place at the end of this year, I hope it gives you some comfort to know that you take this community with us. You take the relationships you have with your faculty and with staff with you, and you will always be in our hearts and a part of this place no matter how far you go physically from our campus. In today's convocation, you are experiencing more symbolism. For example, our faculty and our platform guests are dressed in their academic regalia, a tradition that dates back to the medieval University of Europe, where students were actually required to wear their robes to class each and every day. At the end of today's program, you will experience more tradition in our donning of the cap ceremony. And during this part of the program, we will formally induct our newest members of the campus community into our learning network by asking you to place the caps that you're now holding on your laps on your heads. As you don your caps this morning for the first time, you join with college students and faculty in a tradition that is more than 800 years old and that signifies a very important rite of passage. A passage into a community of which you are a member with responsibilities for developing yourself and your mind to the fullest extent possible. Now, here at the outset of this new academic year, there are two things that I want to leave you with. First, I want to ask you to look beyond this symbolism, beyond the formality of today's program, and to consider the men and women who sit behind me on this stage who are your faculty. These are your partners in the learning process and in developing each of you to your fullest potential. As our seniors will tell you, our faculty care deeply about your success. And during the donning of the cap ceremony, they will surround you on both sides as you recite the affirmation and response. And this too is symbolic of the role that they will play in supporting you along your educational journey. Your faculty are keenly interested in getting to know you. I cannot stress this enough. The other thing I want you to know is that each of them, they are highly interesting individuals. And so I really want to encourage you this semester, even those of you who are seniors, to take the time to get to know a faculty member really, really well. One, it will add much value and richness to your own life because they are interesting. You would not believe some of the hobbies and the talents that our faculty have outside of what they do here at Bay Path. But beyond that, if you take the time to get to know a faculty member really well, the reach of this community will extend even further for you, and you will have a friend for life. Second, an important part of our community is the University Theme Program, which brings us together on many occasions throughout the year to consider a theme that is important to our life together on this campus. This year's theme is just one word, but it is a very important word. It is a word that conveys something that will be important for each of you in your educational journey and as you craft a life that has meaning and purpose. And that word is thrive. As a community, we will consider over the next several months what it means to thrive. Through coursework, lectures, discussions, presentations, as well as through art, literature, film, and theater, each of us will be challenged to consider, what does it mean to thrive? What do you need to live a life that is full and rich with meaning? What parts of your life most need attention if you are to thrive? At the end of the day, the answer to these questions are highly personal. And for me, when I consider what it means to thrive, I'm reminded of a poem by one of my favorite writers, Mary Oliver. And that poem is entitled The Summer Day. And I want to just take a second to read the poem with you. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean, the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? These beautiful words remind and inspire me, and for me, they capture the essence of what it means to thrive. They remind me that first and foremost, my life and your life is entirely what we make of it. Now, you happen to be on a campus where you are surrounded by people who care about you and will do everything they can to ensure your success. But even still, each of you will experience bumps and some disappointments over the next several months. And while we can't always control the things that happen to us, we can choose how we respond. So here at the outset of this academic year, I encourage you to take hold of your Bay Path education and experience, make it your own, and when things do not go your way, take a pause and then consciously decide how you will respond. By doing so, you will find that you have much more power than you might realize to create and to shape your experience on this campus. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? The words of this poem also inspire us to take our lead from that grasshopper, to go beyond our comfort zone, to allow curiosity and passion to lead us, to take a big breath and to push through that fear each and every time we feel it surfacing within us. What might you try in this new year and in this new place that you have always wanted to try but have held back from because of fear? Perhaps it will be going out for an athletic team for the very first time, or auditioning for a play, or simply walking into the dining hall and sitting down with a stranger and starting up a conversation. Or maybe it'll mean going over to Elliot and knocking on a faculty member's door and introducing yourself. I wish for each of you a year that is sprinkled with some awkward moments, some failures, and even a few tears of pain, because this will mean that you will have put yourself out there, taken risks, and allowed yourself to genuinely feel, to live, and to thrive. There is no better time or place to take risks and to practice failing. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? I also encourage you to attend as many of our university theme events as possible. I think you will find your own answers to these questions emerging as you sit with and listen to the experiences that others will share through these events. On October 14th, our first-year students and faculty will be back here for our annual thumbprint lecture. This year's lecture is being given by Chitra Divakaruni, who is the author of the book, One Amazing Thing, the book that our first-year students are all reading. It's a very, very powerful book, and we are so privileged to have the author here on campus to give you a personal, up-close and inside look at what the book is all about. It is now my pleasure to introduce and to welcome to the podium your president, Dr. Carol Leary.
Good morning, good morning. And it is a beautiful morning out there. I wanted to say to Melissa, thank you for those inspiring but beautifully put together words. It was a wonderful presentation and begins our time together this morning. And Iman, your blessings also. We thank you for being here and for also your inspiration as we begin our new academic year. As you heard from our provost, for some of you, the first day of class and the awakening was the first tradition that you experienced. But Convocation is truly the beginning of the academic year. And it is our time as a community to really celebrate the magical experience of teaching and learning. As you heard, we are blessed to have the talented and committed faculty that we have. They're on our stage, very visible to you because of the important role that they play. Will you help me thank our faculty right now? For some of you, their classes may be a bit challenging. I love that. I love it. I can hear the murmurs in the room. But that is their role every day to enter a classroom. Maybe it's in a flipped classroom, might be partially using technology, but most important, they are there creating an experience, an environment that is for you to learn. And that is what today is all about. The magic of learning. It's a tradition that is really about the connection between you and your faculty, between you and the staff that mentor you, serve as your coaches, advise you. All of us are educators in this community, and we all touch you in very different ways throughout your journey with us. As I look out to the new students, the first year in the transfer, I have been fortunate to meet many of you already, but I have so many more to meet. So when I sit with you, like I did with Christina and Victoria, are they in the audience today? There they are. And the very first evening, they probably said, oh my. But we had a fantastic dinner. And now I'll never forget their names, where they're from, their dreams for their education. So that is what being a part of this community and connecting to a faculty or staff member is all about. But as I look at our seniors, it is really a very emotional experience, because I see Jenna and Del Marina, who have served as presidential ambassadors. I can't believe you're in your senior year. I see so many of you that I met at open houses, and now in May, we will be handing you your diplomas. To you, you take the tradition of being a Bay Path woman, a Bay Path educated woman. And Convocation is just the beginning of your final year with us. I am so glad you got to this point. But what I'm most looking forward to is what you will do, how you will use your education when you finally graduate from Bay Path. The teaching and learning experience is not a one-way street. We may teach, advise, mentor, and coach, but you teach us as much as we teach you. As someone who has been in her position for quite a few years, I have to tell you, I do enjoy the conversations with each and every one of you, because I take a nugget away in everything that you say. So I hope that you understand that we are learning as much as you. And your peers, the peer-to-peer learning that happens at Bay Path is just as critical. Think of that with every relationship that you have during your last year or throughout your journey. So my wish for you today and throughout this year is that you're going to be thirsty, very thirsty for knowledge, that you will embrace warmly all of the members of this community, and think of the close circle that Dr. Melissa Morris Olson talked about on that very first day in front of Deepwood. It is a never-ending circle, and it connects us. I also wish that you will live by our motto, Carpe Diem. Seize every opportunity, both in and outside the classroom, to enrich your life and the lives of others. And finally, to thrive. Our theme this year challenges all of us, not just our students, but all of us, to seek to new heights, to soar, to seek adventure, to risk, to thrive. I don't know who I might attribute this quote to, but it is, I think, a good one in which to end my remarks this morning. I don't regret the things I've done, but I regret the things that I didn't do when I had the choice. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce to you Pat Pierce, who is the chair of the Board of Trustees of Bay Path University. She has been a member of our board for over 8 years. She has served in many leadership positions, including the chair of the investment committee, the vice chair of the board, and now the chair. She is totally committed to you and to Bay Path University. Join me in welcoming Pat Pierce.
Well, good morning. Hi. I just feel all kinds of energy and excitement in this room. Energy here, excitement there. Even though it's been many, many years since I went to college, I can still remember the thrill of the start of a new school year. In that first year, I was so excited to have classes begin And then as a senior, I could hardly wait to get back to see my friends who I'd really missed over the summer months. I lived quite a distance away from the school. And so that first year, my mother drove me to campus for orientation week. And she got me all installed in the dorm. When it was time for her to leave and for me to be on my own, she gave me a big hug and she cried. So, I was very excited and happy and all, and I kind of looked at that as like, well, what's this about? This is silly. Why should she be sad? So it took me a while, unfortunately quite a while, but finally I realized that those tears were tears of happiness, because she knew that I was embarking on a journey that would change me and would change my life, all for the better. You first-year students, you're just at the beginning of this marvelous journey. And you seniors, well, you're on the final lap. I hope that each and every one of you does enjoy the challenges and your accomplishments of the coming year. Just one final note. In part, Bay Path University strives because of the Board of Trustees. So I'm here representing 35 other trustees who commit their time, their talents, and their money to the support of the school and of its mission. But you are our mission. So we all wish you the very best, and we do hope that you thrive at Bay Path and you thrive for the rest of your lives. Thank you.
And now for the best part of our time together, because it gives me an opportunity to welcome back one of our former students, an alumna of Bay Path University, and someone who I knew very well when she was a student. So prior to reading my formal remarks about Melissa Tharau, I'm going to share a story about her, because the moment I saw her and her mother enter my office, Noel will remember this very well. Melissa was fortunate enough to go on the Capitals of the World trip when she was a student, and she brought her mother with her, and we went to Paris. And she experienced all the beauty and joy and magic of that incredible city. On the final day, the students have the opportunity to do whatever they wish, and she wanted to go to a bookstore called Shakespeare and Company, a very famous bookstore. Ernest Hemingway, many famous authors from America and around the world went to this little bookstore in Paris. And if you bought a book, they would stamp it with the Shakespeare and Company insignia. And that's what she wanted to do. Plus, I think you did do a little shopping as well, Melissa. And she went to the bookstore with her mother on her own and explored. And while she was there, she met somebody. Emma Watson. Yes, from the Harry Potter movies and stories, and they had their picture taken together with Emma Watson. So when Melissa walked into my office this morning, what did I remember? Emma Watson, Mrs. Tharau, and Melissa in front of Shakespeare and Company. So you never know where your experiences with Bay Path will lead you. But now for the formal introduction of this extraordinary woman who is in one of the most extraordinary professions, teaching. Melissa is no stranger to Bay Path. As a former student, she was a member of the Maroon Key Honor Society and the Education Club, where she served as both the co-president and the president. She was elected by her peers to serve on the executive board for the class of 2012 in both her junior and her senior year. And in both of these years, she received the Marcia H. Conrad Awards for involvement and dedication to the Education Club. And if you know anything about the Education Club, these students are fearless, and they are kind, and they raise money for less fortunate in the school systems throughout the greater Springfield area. Melissa graduated from Bay Path in 2012 with a Bachelor of Arts degree and her licensure in elementary education. And with these credentials, she began serving as a teaching assistant in the Learning Skills Center, an autism program at Harwinton Consolidated School in Harwinton, Connecticut. And now she is a kindergarten teacher there. In her second year of teaching, Melissa was nominated for a district-wide Teacher of the Year award, her second year of teaching. Her philosophy on education is this, and in her own words, I want all of my students to feel safe and loved in their classroom. It's an environment in which they can feel safe to explore, ask questions, and make mistakes. Our classroom is a place where they will grow socially, emotionally, and academically. Their thinking, their opinion, and their ideas are valued. I want to foster their love of learning and of school. Most of all, I want my students to feel respected, cared for, and loved. What beautiful words, Melissa. Melissa will be pursuing her Master of Arts in Education at the University of St. Joseph to study reading and language. Her future plan is to honor the professors who inspired her by eventually becoming an adjunct at a college or university. I think our faculty are listening, Melissa. Please join me in welcoming Melissa Tharau.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to first thank President Leary and all of the faculty and staff for welcoming me to campus today. I would also especially like to thank Attorney Dobmeyer and Dr. Restico for inviting me to speak this morning. I am very truly honored to be back on campus, and I appreciate everyone for welcoming me so warmly back. I'm really honored, truly, to be here speaking to you, the first-year students, transfer students, and seniors. As President Leary mentioned, I am a kindergarten teacher, so you'll have to forgive me. Most mornings at this time, I'm teaching my 4- and 5-year-olds who think everything I say is absolutely the bee's knees. So I hope that I can capture your attention and inspire you just as I do theirs. 4 years ago, I was sitting in the first row, right in front of me, in the very end seat. I was an eager and anxious senior ready to graduate and take on the world. And today I am thrilled to be here to talk to you about your university theme for the 2016-2017 academic year, the concept of thriving. To prepare for my speech today, to be quite honest, the first thing I did was look up the definition of thrive. I knew what it meant to me, but I was curious as to what Merriam-Webster thought it meant. And what I quickly learned was that the term thrive is multidimensional. Under the huge umbrella definition of thriving, it was clear that thriving means to flourish and to work toward your fullest potential. As I thought more about the concept of thriving, I began to think how I thrived at Bay Path, how I have thrived after graduating Bay Path, and what advice I could share with you all this morning. Well, I thought I must have done something right because they asked me to present this speech today. But to be honest, I was quite taken aback and surprised when I received the invitation to be the convocation speaker. I remember thinking, me? Are you sure? Or the first person they asked must have been busy. But nonetheless, I was undoubtedly honored. And I guess you can say I thought that because I never considered myself a special Bay Path alumni. I always just considered myself a typical Bay Path alumni. When I was a student at Bay Path, I was not a resident assistant, I was not captain of the basketball team, and I did not have a 4.0. So why me? I was forced to answer this question myself. Why me? Well, I have a strong work ethic and display determination by accomplishing whatever I set my mind to. I was president of the Education Club and a member of the Student Government Association. But why me? Because I thrived at Bay Path in my own time and in my own way. And that's what I want to encourage you to do today as you begin your new academic year and you thrive at Bay Path. First-year students and transfer students, you are about to embark on an incredible journey at Bay Path. Bay Path, in every sense of the definition, will give you the tools you need to thrive. Bay Path will grant you every opportunity you can imagine. Want to create or develop a new club? Create it. Want to challenge yourself academically? The professors behind me will absolutely do that. Perhaps you want to reinvent yourself from the person you were in high school or elsewhere. Do that here. You are at Bay Path University, a university where you are encouraged to seize the day. And seniors, as you prepare for your final year at Bay Path, I encourage you to reflect on your accomplishments and successes thus far. I also challenge you to think about or make a list of the things you still want to do. Seize your remaining time at Bay Path. Remember, thriving is so much more than how you appear on any gradebook or transcript. In your final year at Bay Path, think about what else you can do to truly thrive. In my process of compiling my jumbled ideas and thoughts when writing this speech, I discovered numerous inspiring quotes about thriving, and I came up with 3 tips I want to share with you this morning about how you can thrive with your time at Bay Path. Number 1, just try it and get comfortable being uncomfortable. Simply put, just try it. Do not think too much into it or doubt yourself. Just try it. Win Borden said, "If you wait to do everything until you're sure it's right, you'll probably never do much of anything." Simply put, every accomplishment starts with the decision to try. A meaningful quote I found states, "To grow, you have to embrace the discomfort. It feels awkward. It's uncomfortable. You're out of your comfort zone. But if you stay in your comfort zone, that's not where your growth is. To unleash your potential and expand what you're capable of, you have to embrace change and discomfort as a part of the path. It is so easy to be comfortable and to do what you know. But push yourself out of your comfort zone." As cliche as that sounds. This is not always easy, but if you are growing and thriving, you are always going to be out of your comfort zone. Try a new sport. Take a class you have an interest in and want to learn more about. Develop a new club. Challenge yourself and just try it. I can guarantee that the discomfort you may feel at first when you try something new will outweigh the regret you may feel if you had never tried it in the first place. Number 2, look for people who can teach you and find people who you can teach in return. First-year students and transfers. The first part of this is especially applicable to you as you begin your career at Bay Path. Take advantage of the incredible faculty and staff here at Bay Path. They will teach you far beyond the classroom. They will teach you, inspire you, challenge you, and probably frustrate you a time or two with a really hard assignment. But they will also be the mentors you go to for advice, your stand-in family when you need a listening ear, and your biggest, loudest cheerleader. They will do whatever they can to help you thrive at Bay Path. No pressure, faculty and staff. In addition to the faculty and staff, look to your upperclasswomen. I remember feeling so intimidated by the thought of asking for help from an upperclasswoman. I didn't want to sound dumb or immature, like I didn't know what I was doing. It actually wasn't until I was approached by an upperclasswoman that I realized how meaningful and powerful the relationships you can establish with your peers are. They understand what you are going through and the challenges you are facing. They also have really great advice about what classes to take and which to avoid. But who knows? They could possibly become someone you reach out to after graduation for a letter of recommendation or a networking connection for your career. Seniors, as you begin your final academic year at Bay Path, continue making deeper level connections with your faculty and staff. They are never through teaching you, academically, personally, or professionally. I hope you heed the same advice I shared with the first years and transfer students. But I want you to embrace the second part of this tip. Find people who you can teach in return. Remember what it was like when you were a first-year student and you first began your journey at Bay Path. This year is your opportunity to thrive by sharing what you have learned with the first-year students and transfer students. And finally, this I believe is my most important piece of advice. Number 3, make your own model for thriving. So today I was invited here to talk to you about thriving and working towards your fullest potential. But what is your fullest potential? No one defines your fullest potential but you. As I shared, I used to have a model for what I thought the perfect Bay Path student is. If you had asked me when I was a student at Bay Path what it meant to thrive, I probably would have told you something like this. It's someone who's involved in student government, who's a resident assistant, who plays at least one sport, who is a student admissions representative, and who is well liked by her peers. That's what I would have told you because at first, that's what I thought I had to be in order to thrive and be considered successful. Now, however, my definition of what it means to thrive at Bay Path and in life has completely changed. How I thrived at Bay Path will be completely different than how you thrive at Bay Path. How you thrive at Bay Path may be completely different than how your roommate thrives at Bay Path. If thriving means to work towards your fullest potential, do just that in your way. Create a unique vision for yourself. Perhaps thriving means that you will challenge yourself academically. Seniors, perhaps thriving means to you that you will take advantage of every networking opportunity in your field. To others, however, it may mean that you challenge yourself academically to prepare for additional years of schooling to follow. One size does not fit all. Take other people's experiences as inputs so you can create your own model. So students, as you begin your new academic year at Bay Path, I want you to remember those 3 things. Just try it and get comfortable being uncomfortable. Look for people who can teach you and find people who you can teach in return, and make your own model. In your life at Bay Path and beyond, there are constant challenges that you will encounter. Defining personal success will depend on your ability to transcend such challenges. Remember that an easy life is rarely meaningful, and a meaningful life is rarely easy. Carpe diem, Bay Path. Thank you.
Melissa, thank you for your inspiring words. Your kindergartners are so lucky. Isn't she the perfect kindergarten? Don't we all wish that we could start with somebody? And I also want to thank her mother, who is here and no doubt just as proud as we are. So we've now come to that place in the program where we will formally induct our incoming class, our new students, into the Bay Path University community of learners. During the next few minutes, while our Director of Performing Arts, Bobby Tomasulo, plays the music interlude, our faculty will rise and recess to the main floor while Miranda French and Samantha Arasimowicz join me here at the podium. I'm pleased to introduce our senior delegate, Miranda French, and our first-year representative, Samantha Arasimowicz, who will help lead the induction of our new students. On behalf of the senior class, Miranda will ask her classmates to stand, to turn around and to face the first-year students, and will lead them in reading aloud the senior affirmation that is printed in your program. Following the senior affirmation, our new students will stand, and Samantha will lead her classmates in reading aloud the response, which is also found in the program.
Good morning, everybody. At this time, I would like to ask the senior class to stand and face the first years. Welcome to Bay Path's learning community. We invite you to join us in building the road for women of leadership who bring social justice through the 21st century. We are self-motivated problem posers and problem solvers inside and outside the classroom. We are partners with faculty in curiosity and hunger for knowledge. Faculty and students recognize and foster the lifelong learning through dialogue and partnership wherever we go to bring about justice.
Hi, everyone. Can I please have the first years and transfers stand and face the seniors? And everyone read along with me here. We have been woken to your call to self-initiated learning. We will help build the road for women of leadership who bring social justice through the 21st century. It begins at Bay Path University with learning and community. It will go on forever.
Thank you. New students, I now invite you to take those caps and place them on your heads as we all join together in welcoming you into the Bay Path community of empowered learners and leaders. Will you now please be seated for a very brief Campus theme video presentation.
You start to thrive, you realize who you are.
Start to bloom like a flower, flourish.
Achieving any sorts of goals,
Being successful.
just being passionate about something and carrying it out.
I started working when I was 15. I would work on weekdays until like midnight and then wake up and go back to school. I have been making jewelry for about 3 years now. I needed to pay bills and then I fell in love with it. Now I've sold all over the world.
I had a really hard time getting through high school. I felt uncomfortable in most situations, but I came here and Dr. Quadro Spinella made me a completely different person. To have someone that's so supportive, it's just given me confidence and a drive to like want to go further.
My professors guided me. They know who I am. They know what my jewelry is about. That is probably the most helpful thing that BayPath has done for me.
You seem to really thrive in the class. It was really kind of cool. I remember how excited you would get.
And now that I had like somewhat of a foundation to actually build my business on.
Yeah, I think about where you were 3 years ago and where you are now.
I know.
The amount of information that you get is not only just textbook information, but it's information you can apply to your day-to-day lives.
Unlink it, you just select the rows again.
I feel like I've accomplished a lot through the past few years at BayPath.
There's nothing more powerful than being able to share what you have inside of you and bringing it onto others. Just like I think BayPath University does with us, they invest so much into the students to make sure that we're thriving as individuals so that we can then thrive in our communities and careers and whatever it is that we decide to do outside.
It's always a new adventure. Every student is different.
It's amazing to see the transformation from the time that we meet her to the time that she walks across the graduation stage. She finds her voice.
The best feelings that you can have is to know that you've seen someone grow so much.
You see it in their personality, in their face. They get excited. There's that twinkle in the eye, and that's really when you know that moment has happened. They start to really know who they are.
Here at BayPath, we give you the opportunity to determine what it is that makes you thrive.
It's conferences, it's classes on etiquette, it's understanding who you are as a woman, being empowered as a woman. Those kind of things help you thrive.
The setting of a small women's university allows you to thrive in a way that you probably wouldn't at a larger university.
I've done so much more than I've ever thought I could possibly take on. To be a part of something taught me how to be hopeful for the future, and we're really just like a big family.
I don't even know any other way to describe the faculty as anything else than a family.
We're definitely going to be lifelong friends, so thriving through each other and having them to experience moments with is something you'll always remember.
I want to give a shout out to Rebecca Capuano and her staff for putting together this inspiring video. Thank you for your presence here this morning. An important announcement, seniors and new students, we're going to do official class photos out on the lawn. So as you exit after the recessional, look for our photographer and he will direct you for the official class photos. Will you please now rise, remain standing for the recessional, which will be led by our faculty, followed by the president, and finally our students. Have a wonderful, wonderful year.